To our May 26th City Council meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can I please have the Pledge of Allegiance and Inspiration by Councilmember Kelly Creeps?
Please stand if you're able. Ready, begin? So we are smack in the middle of graduation season. My own youngest son graduated this past Saturday, so I had that on my mind. And then I opened the Mountain Views News this weekend, and someone else, our columnist, our local columnist, Deanne Davis, also had that on her mind, and she reprinted a portion of probably the most famous graduation speech in pop culture, which is the infamous sunscreen, wear sunscreen speech. I didn't actually know who had originally given it, but it was a woman named Mary Schmidt, and she was a journalist and columnist for the Chicago Tribune, and actually won the Pulitzer Prize in 2012. I don't think it was for this, but she should have, because it's probably the only graduation speech that anybody ever remembers. So anyway, I was just gonna read it because it is probably about as universal of advice as you can get, and said in a way that I think probably resonated with graduates in a way that most speeches don't, right? Like, the speeches were very nice at my son's graduation, but it was every graduation speech you've ever heard, and I'm not sure any of the 137 young men sitting there listened to a word. So I suspect they might have heard this in a little bit different way. So I will just read part of it. Wear sunscreen. If I could offer only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proven by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own experience. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worry is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing gum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your mind, the kind that blindside you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. So, do one thing every day that scares you. Sing. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts, and don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Floss. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone. For sure, graduates will never listen to that. But the parents do, right? That's probably more for the parents. Dance, even though you have nowhere to do it but in your living room. Read the directions, even if you don't follow them. Do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly. Don't mess too much with your hair, or by the time you are 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. But trust me on the sunscreen. So anyway, I thought that's just universal advice that I reflect back on many times. That's the only graduation speech I didn't actually hear, but I remember. So hopefully that was useful, and I will remind my son that he should wear sunscreen, because he went to the beach yesterday and got quite sunburned. So thank you.
Thank you, that was great. May I please have roll call? Oh. There it goes.
All right. Thank you. Mayor Christine Lowe,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Jean Goss,
Here.
Councilmember Edward Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Kelly Creeps,
Here.
and Councilmember Robert Parkhurst.
Here.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Is there any supplemental information from City Clerk regarding agenda items?
None submitted, Madam Mayor.
All right. Can I please have the reports from council? Anybody want to start?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Back on the 16th, Saturday, I attended the Sierra Madre Community Foundation Poker Tournament at the home of Jason and Heather Young. Thanks to the Youngs very sincerely for generously availing their home once again for a major city event. It was just a great time, and evidently the foundation made a lot of money for its purposes. On the 18th, I attended the Community Services Commission. 7 different nonprofit organizations in town were on the agenda to update what they're doing for the commission. It was very informative. I think the commissioners appreciated that. Senior Management Analyst Carlson provided a transportation subcommittee update to the commission. And Eagle Scout Jediah Schwind discussed his Memorial Park Eagle Scout project, which was a Memorial Park refresh, which is now finished. It looks great. And kudos to Jediah for that. Where's my other stuff here? I've got this on massive font size so I can read it without my glasses. Attended the Council of Governments meeting in Monrovia on May 21st. A representative from the State Insurance Commissioner's Office was there, spoke about the home insurance situation in the state and reported some modest progress. Looking around from the looks on the faces of many of us who were there representing cities, I would say that is very modest, if at all. Saturday, I attended the Mount Wilson Trail Race, and I got to tell you, it's an amazing thing that we came back from that fire the way we did. Kudos to Pete Sibrel and his amazing volunteers for getting that trail back together. It was a great race, a great event. Kudos to city staff, Sierra Madre, Search and Rescue for all the efforts as well. Just a fantastic way to get our trail race back in the running. And that's all I've got.
Thank you.
I have a very short report. I attended the Library Board of Trustee meeting, which was mostly to cover the plans for the upcoming grand opening on June 6th. So lots of fun things in the works, lots of work and planning going in behind the scenes. So please make sure to attend. It's going to be both a traditional opening with all of the speeches from lots of dignitaries, big-time dignitaries, by the way, but then kind of a block party format with fun things to do and booths from our local groups and projects and a puzzle contest and all sorts of fun things. And most importantly, throughout or at some point during the block party aspect of it, the library itself will be open. So come for the block party, come for the speeches, but come to check out books.
Yay.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, so on May 13th and 14th, I headed up to Sacramento for the California Community Choice Association meeting. This was the meeting of all of the cities and counties that buy power for their residents. Interesting fact came out of that 70% of all residents in California are currently served by a CCA. They had a number of interesting panels and discussions. One was on wildfire and insurance and the overlap with energy and some of the challenges that are being faced there. We had visits by a number of lawmakers, Senator Ben Allen and Petrie Norris, forget that senator's first name, and gave us an update on some of the bills going through the legislature there. Some discussion on virtual power plants, and basically being able to save energy and get people to use energy at certain times to avoid having to build power plants. And then, of course, data centers. And there's a lot of discussion on data centers. Interesting part on that is that there were people from the data center industry that were talking about that they're saying that they're willing to step up and cover the environmental impacts of energy prices and water use. So that was an interesting thing to hear. Also on May 14th was the Clean Power Alliance board meeting where we approved rates. We've got one rate that's going to be less expensive than Southern California Edison, one that's at parity, and then there's 100% renewable energy, which is about 6% premium. And also at that meeting, they approved the budget for the next 2 years. There was also an executive committee meeting for the Clean Power Alliance, nothing to report from that. And then last Wednesday was the Natural Resources Commission meeting, where they discussed an update on a battery recycling program for the city, the updates to the Bailey Canyon Wilderness Park, and the rehab of the trail there, and then further discussion of the tree protection and preservation ordinance. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, a short report. I also attended the Mount Wilson Trail Race. It was a wonderful event. We saw, I think, J.J. Timpany winning it for the 7th time. Amazing. An hour 3. I can't even do the trailhead to first water and back in an hour in 15 minutes. So what an amazing feat. And I think former Mayor John Capocha's daughter, one of his daughters, won the women's race. So that was pretty exciting to have a local winning the women's race as well. But I'd like to give my hats off to the Mount Wilson Trail Race Committee, those that work on the trail as well, Bob Spears and the crew for getting the trail ready for this race. Heard it was in great shape. I didn't go up there. I also like to tip my hat to Public Works, the police department, the fire department, as well as search and rescue for all of the time and effort that they put into it, and also Boy Scout Troop 110 for handing out the water at Orchard Camp, and then Cub Scout packs 110, and I think 1 were handing out water at First Water. So thank you to all the volunteers, all the staff for making this just such a wonderful event and such a great day here in Sierra Madre. And that is my report.
Thank you. So it was a fun event. I'm going to go backwards. So the Mount Wilson Trail Race was, again, on the 23rd. And I also want to thank all of those who donated to the Fletcher Fund, because that's how they were able to rebuild that amazing trail that we have within such a short amount of time. So thank you so much to everybody who participated, and the search and rescue, who also participate in constantly making sure we're as safe as possible up that trail. On 5/19, I attended the Reading is Fundamental, which is for our Pasadena area, including Sierra Madre, with our Ann Palmer. And it was a great event. I learned a lot, and it was really great to hear how reading is being addressed in our schools. And this one organization makes sure that every 3rd grader is given 3 books once a year. So it's really exciting, and it's really neat to see these kids be able to own their own books. So that was a fun and a great event. And then on 5/18, I had a meeting with Victor Reyes Morales. He's the rep for Governor Newsom. And he was asking, he's one of the newer reps, and he was asking what some of the priorities are for Sierra Madre right now. And I said, well, for the recovery, a lot of it isn't to do with the inability to rebuild. It's the insurance companies not paying out the right amounts. I said that also leads us to the problem that we have here in Sierra Madre and against the foothills, is that a lot of the insurance companies will no longer cover us to the same extent as we should be covered. And so we were talking about how those things do need to change in our state, especially for our burn regions. We also brought up the bear issues, and I said that we have an issue with Department of Fish and Wildlife not being fully funded to have our own conflict specialists, and how that is the state's duty to mitigate these issues, and we have been falling short on that at the state level. So those were some issues we came up with. And then on 5/13, there was a Cal Cities roundtable meeting with council and mayors from our local area. And across California and Southern California, the same thing we kept hearing was the unfunded mandates. So all the times we have something put upon us that we have no way to pay for, but somehow we have to implement this. So that was our topic of conversation. And I think that was it. On to the next. So that was the past. Let's go to the future. The Tesla charging stations are now complete and working. If you drive by, you can see Tesla's charging, and any vehicle that has the same they just need the adapter, can use those charging stations. This is a great amenity, provides our residents and visitors with convenient access to electric vehicle charging, supporting sustainability, transportation, and enhancing the city's commitment to environmental stewardship. And the charging stations are now for public use, and we have already seen a growing amount of people using them and then moving on to participate in our Mount Wilson Trail Race and our local stores. The city is inviting community members to participate in the public review process of the draft open space and conservation elements of the general plan update. The draft documents are available for 30 days, and you can review them from May 12th through June 13th, and we will gather community comments and feedback, and then the Planning Commission will conduct a public hearing on June 18th to preview the proposed updates. That, again, is the updates to the open space and conservation elements for our general plan. The community is invited to celebrate the grand reopening of the City Library on June 6th, beginning at 10 a.m. Please join us and celebrate this amazing feat that's been, 30-plus years in the making. We're very excited. There will be so many fun events, as Councilmember Creeps has announced. Coincidentally, also that day will be the British Fair. They are going to continue on with the British Fair. So that is starting at 9:30 and goes to 2:30. They are very close. You can walk between the two and enjoy all of the events. Please join us for the community fun and family-friendly community bike ride on Friday, June 19th, starting at 5 p.m. It's going to be in the evening after work at Memorial Park. Participants are invited to enjoy an evening ride through the community and then stay afterwards for the first movie in the park, beginning at dusk and featuring the beloved Disney film Lilo and Stitch. Bring your blankets, your lawn chairs, your bicycle early, and enjoy a great evening of recreation and entertainment with friends and family. And then the community is invited to attend the upcoming community yard sale on Saturday, June 20th, from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., hosted by our Senior Community Commission, and it features a variety of treasures, household items, collectibles, and more. Be sure to stop by, shop locally, and support this fun community event. There are flyers in the back for that. And then last but not least, tomorrow and the next day, we have our exciting budget sessions. Please, please, please come. They actually are pretty exciting this time. We really like the format. The first day, we are going to go over fire department, police department, and public works. And then the following day, on Thursday, we'll go over the rest of the budget. But it is a great way for you all to participate in what you think is important to our budget. What do you want us to spend our tax dollars on, your tax dollars on? And please give us that input. And come to see what our amazing staff has put together so far and how we're going to trudge forward with this next 2026-2027 fiscal year. They start at 5:30 right here. We'll see you all back here tomorrow. Okay. Reports from city staff.
There were no reports for updates from city staff, ma'am.
Okay. We now have presentations. Our first presentation is the proclamation and recognition of Older Americans Month. And I believe we have the Senior Commissioner Chair, Steve Hydorf. No, has he not made it? Do we have any, can you, yes, okay, thank you. We have our representative from the Senior Commission. We're so technical. Except I can't turn it on. Hello? Thank you. Sorry, technology. All right, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We have the Older Americans Month. Whereas older Americans have made invaluable contributions to our community through their wisdom, experience, and dedication, enriching the lives of all generations, and older adults play vital roles in leadership, mentors, volunteers, caregivers, strengthening families and neighborhoods and civic life. It is important to honor the diversity of older adults and ensure they have opportunities to remain engaged, independent, and connected with the community. Communities thrive when people of all ages are valued, included, and supported with access to resources that promote health, dignity, and quality of life. The City of Sierra Madre joins the national tradition of designating the month of May as a time to celebrate contributions of older Americans and rededicate our efforts to better serve their needs. And the City Council wishes to express and appreciate for past and continuing contributions of its older residents to the community and our nation, and recognizes that older adults are a vital and growing part of our city. So I'd like to give you this certificate in recognition. We do have one of the best senior community commissions that is around, so please, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. think it's the most fun commission, too. I think so. Yeah. All right, our next presentation is going to be to Dane Linton, our Sierra Madre Older American of the Year. Would you like me to come to you? This is why we have a mobile microphone. You're the next awardee. Good evening, Mr. Linton. All right, so you have multiple certificates here. We have one from Judy Chu's office from the U.S. Representative of Congress. We've got our Senator, Sasha Renee Perez. And we also have our Assemblyman, John Harabedian, our California Legislator, Assembly, District 41. So let me give you those ones so far, all your amazing awards. This one is the most beautiful, with our wisteria insert as well. This is the Sierra Madre beautiful certificate. Dane Linton, you have been dedicated and a longstanding member of Sierra Madre community since the 1960s, demonstrating a deep and enduring connection to the city and a steadfast commitment to preserving the unique history, character, and charm that defines Sierra Madre. Mr. Linton, you have provided exemplary leadership through your service as chairman of the Sierra Madre Cultural Heritage Commission, helping to safeguard the city's historical resources for future generations. And you have dedicated over 15 years as an active member of the Historical Preservation Society, contributing your time and expertise to the protection and appreciation of local history. And you continue your service through your involvement with the Pioneer Cemetery Committee, ensuring the respectful preservation of an important piece of Sierra Madre's heritage. Your lifelong dedication to service, preservation, and community engagement exemplifies the very spirit of the Older American of the Year distinction. It is now proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre does hereby honor and recognize Dane Linton as the 2026 Older American of the Year and extends its deepest gratitude for the many years of service, leadership, and unwavering commitment to Sierra Madre community. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Mr. Denton. Thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much again, Mr. Denton. That was amazing, all you've done for us. And the last presentation we have is the Sierra Madre Civic Club Grant Awards. Hello, Civic Club. By the way, the burritos were amazing at the trail race. Thank you so much. Hi.
It helps if you can open up your speech. Okay. Good evening, Mayor Lowe, City Council members, and friends. Mary Higgins and I are co-chairs of the Sierra Madre Civic Club. The Sierra Madre Civic Club is a civic and philanthropic organization founded in 1944. We're civic in the sense that we volunteer in such things as docents at the Wisteria Vine. We sponsor Halloween window painting. We serve food and swag bags at the Mount Wilson Trail Race and other such activities. We're philanthropic in that we raise money throughout the year for educational awards and for grants for nonprofits. This year, we were able to give $7,500 in educational awards to 5 graduating seniors from Sierra Madre. Yeah. Mary and I are here to give out $21,700 in checks to organizations that provide goods and services that are readily accessible to all adults and children in Sierra Madre, or to organizations that support the preservation of Sierra Madre's historical landmarks and treasures. Okay. When I say the name, would the recipient please step forward and receive the check? The British Home will use the money to purchase a food processor to prepare food for residents who need their food chopped or pureed. Okay. The Cancer Support Community has a Lunch and Learn program. The Lunch and Learn program, the guests receive a free lunch, and then they hear speakers talk about such things as cancer prevention, cancer treatment, and living with cancer. So they will use their grant for 3 such presentations, 3 months of presentations.
Thank you so much. I brought information about all our upcoming programs. If anyone is interested, they're all free. And Lunch and Learn is open to the public.
Thank you.
The Convalescent Aid Society loans durable medical equipment at no cost to their clients. They have found that it's much more cost efficient to repair equipment than to buy new equipment. So this money will be used to repair and for the tools and the parts to repair the equipment. And they did note that they currently have 349 pieces of equipment out to 219 residents in Sierra Madre. So they did that. The Creative Arts Group building had a leaky roof, and before the leaky roof could be repaired, some of the classrooms sustained water damage. So their check will help to repair the water damage that was sustained during the leaks. The Fletcher Fund is receiving a check to purchase equipment, materials, supplies, and tools for use by the volunteers who are redesigning and reinforcing the Bailey Canyon trails. Where is he? The Helping Hands Community Food Bank has a food bank every Wednesday that serves 750 families. They estimate that's for about 2,500 people. And this check will supplement 1 week the basic items provided by the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank need supplementation, so this money will help to supplement the supplies. The Pasadena Sierra Madre YMCA has a youth and government program. The teens go to Sacramento to observe and participate in model state legislature, California courts, and the United Nations. So this money will help support one student participating in that program. Okay. And reading is fundamental. Volunteers visit every second grade classroom in the PUSD 3 times during the school year, and the students are able to choose a brand new book to keep at every visit. So the money will purchase books. Sierra Madre CERT is going to use the money to provide training materials for the city of Sierra Madre to learn how to care for themselves, their family, and neighbors before, during, and after a major disaster. The Sierra Madre Community Services Department, this money is used to help cover operating costs and to purchase T-shirts and items for the goodie bag that's given to the kids during the Mount Wilson Trail Race. The Sierra Madre Environmental Action Committee will use the money to support the building of a shed at Bailey Canyon Park to store gardening tools essential to the efficient work of this volunteer organization. The Sierra Madre Events Committee will use the money to support the 4th of July America 250 celebration and winter holiday displays with the goal of ensuring that these traditions continue to unite and inspire Sierra Madre. Okay, you're welcome. The Sierra Madre Historical and Preservation Society is renovating the back house of Richardson House Museum, which used to be a kitchen. So they're going to use the money to purchase 2 of 4 display cases that will be used to show kitchen memorabilia. The Sierra Madre Playhouse will use the money to purchase sound equipment that will improve significantly the audio at their concerts and the theatrical productions. Okay. The Sierra Madre Public Library. The money will support partial funding for 3 of their activities. The grand reopening on June 6th, Be There or Be Square. The summer reading kickoff event, which will feature Thor's reptiles, and I'm having my knee replaced a week from today, but I definitely want to be there to see Thor's reptiles. I'm sorry. And also 2 books for the Walk This Way, a story adventure, which provides a reading opportunity for members of the community as they walk around Memorial Park. And last but not least, the Sierra Madre Rose Float Association is going to use the money to replace and upgrade 2 6-foot work tables and a heavy-duty rolling cart. This equipment is needed to ensure the safety of the crew and volunteers as they work on those award-winning rose floats. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. And thank you for giving us the time to distribute our philanthropy grants. Doing so allows us not only to demonstrate the work that Civic Club does, but it also highlights some of the 16 organizations that contribute so much to making Sierra Madre so special. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sierra Madre Civic Club. It truly shows how we're talking about budgets tomorrow, and this just shows how much this community is built on giving and philanthropy and supporting each other and supporting all our organizations. So thank you so much for all your 16 grants. Okay, we're moving on to public comment for items not on the agenda. A person wishing to speak for the City Council may ask to complete a speaker card and provide it to the city clerk. Speakers are generally limited to 3 minutes tonight per person, and time may not be delegated. Any changes to the allotted time I will announce, but we are sticking, I don't think we have anything more than 3 minutes tonight. Under the Brown Act, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the posted agenda. Do we have any speaker cards tonight? Oh, can you please bring it right here to our city clerk? Thank you so much.
We have 1 speaker card, Madam Mayor, and then we also had 2 emails that were received in advance of this meeting, and they were forwarded to the City Council for review. The speaker card that we have is from Samantha Soda.
Please, Ms. Soto, please. Thank you so much. If you don't mind the hustle and bustle behind you.
I don't at all. Thank you. Okay. My name is Samantha Soda, and I'm a local designer and longtime community member of Sierra Madre. And I've worked in the film and television world for over 30 years. I used to be a set painter. And I'm asking for the city's support with a beautification project that means a great deal to our town. For over 10 years, many people tried to convince the owner of a historic building, the owner of Happy's, to allow a mural welcoming visitors into town. After more than a year of personally working with him, addressing concern about historical preservation, the historical character of the area, and obtaining city approval, I was finally able to gain his trust and secure permission for the project. This has been an incredibly difficult project to bring to life. I sought support from the Historical Society, but was unable to receive help. I approached the Rotary Club for financial assistance, but was turned down. And at one point, I even partnered with the muralist, who became a nonprofit because we were told funding would only be possible through nonprofit status, only to later be told funding still would not be available. watching all those checks being handed out, I was like, but anyway, I continued pushing forward because I truly believe this mural will become something meaningful for our community. I have personally raised my own money on my own and have found a muralist willing to take on the project at a reasonable cost. I'm not asking for the city for a reimbursement for the mural itself. I'm only asking for assistance with restoring the large decorative lamps surrounding the mural area in the parking lot at Happy's. It can be a security issue at night. It's dark and those lights no longer work. The owner thought the city still owned them, but they don't. And so he's understandably concerned about making a mistake with the electrical work. And these are large city-style lampposts that require proper handling and expertise. And we simply want to ensure that the lighting is restored safely and correctly with the city's support and guidance. After all the effort and time and obstacles it has taken to bring this project to life, I sincerely hope the city will consider helping with this final piece of beautification effort. This mural is my way of giving back to the community through art, pride, and civic improvement. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. And do we have any other public comment?
No other speaker cards, Madam Mayor.
Okay. We're going to move on to the consent calendar. Madam City Clerk, can you please read the consent calendar by title only?
Thank you. The City Council is asked to consider several items on the consent calendar. A is the approval of City Council meeting minutes from the May 12th City Council meeting. It's a recommendation that the City Council approve the minutes. There was one request for a correction on the minutes. There was a council member's name left off of discussion A. And consent item B is Resolution 26-39 is approval of warrants for payment. Staff recommends that the City Council approve Resolution 26-39. Consent item C is Resolution 26-38 authorizing a supplemental budget appropriation from the Water Fund Reserve in the amount of $400,000 and approval of the water main replacement agreement with Toll West Coast LLC. Staff recommends that the City Council approve Resolution 26-38. Moving on to item D is Resolution 26-45. This is a resolution authorizing a supplemental budget appropriation from the Library Gift and Memorial Fund in the amount of $80,000 for fiscal year 2025-2026. Staff recommends that the City Council approve resolution number 26-45. And consent item E is Resolution 26-46. That's authorizing a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $174,050 from general fund reserves and award a construction contract to Ultimate Pool Remodeling, Inc. for the Sierra Madre Aquatic Center Pool Deck Repair and Pools Replaster Project at Sierra Vista Park in the amount of $324,050. Staff is asking that the City Council approve resolution number 26-46. Consent item AF is the professional services agreement with the Pasadena Humane Society for animal shelter and animal control services in the amount of $364,488. This is for a 5-year period. Consent G is a professional services agreement with California Consultant, Inc. for grant research and writing. Let me see. For grant identification, writing, and administration services in the amount of $111,400. It is staff's recommendation that the City Council approve the professional services agreement. Consent H is the declaration of city-owned vehicles as surplus in accordance with Sierra Madre Municipal Code Section 3.08.100, Section C. Recommendation is to approve. I is the Fourth Amendment to the professional services agreement with Wildan Engineering. The recommendation here is for approval as well. Resolution number 26-41 is consent J. It's initiating the fiscal year 2026-2027 downtown landscaping and lighting maintenance district proceedings. It's a recommendation that the city council approve resolution 2641. And K is the second reading of ordinance 1493, that's amending chapter 12.28 of house and building numbering of Title 12, streets, sidewalks, and public places of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code. It is staff's recommendation that the city council approve the second reading of ordinance 1493. And then lastly is the second reading of ordinance 1494, amending section 17.08.020, words, terms, phrases defined, of chapter 17.08, definitions, and chapter 17.22, accessory dwelling units of Title 17 zoning of the Sierra Madre Municipal Code. Staff's recommendation is that the city council approve second reading of ordinance 1494. Madam Mayor, this concludes my report. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you so much. All right, do we have questions on item A?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So I was teleconferencing for the last meeting, so I wasn't watching, so I wasn't sure. But on discussion item, or number 11 discussion item, we pulled an item G from the consent calendar, and it says that Councilmember Parkhurst was absent, but I recall that he voted on that one.
Correct. No.
I didn't vote. I recused myself.
On CETT investment?
No. For CETT, I did vote for that one.
Okay, so it says you're absent, so I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
Okay, and then for the next one, it said you're absent, but I think you recused yourself. I don't know if that makes a difference in the record, if he's absent or recused.
For purposes of a vote, the recusal counts as an absence.
Okay, fantastic.
So we'll just correct the other one. Okay. How about item B? Item C? Item D? E? F? G?
Madam Mayor?
Okay. I was like, why are you guys looking at me?
Please.
It's not a race. I feel like I need a buzzer. I just had a question because I thought we had previously engaged California Consulting for our grant research services, but the staff report was written in such a way that it sounded like it was a new agreement. So I guess I wanted clarification on that, and I just wanted maybe a little bit, if that is the case, which I think it is, to just provide a little bit on what their efforts have been on our behalf thus far, and kind of how, obviously, staff's recommending, but it'd be nice to know on what basis these services were being recommended.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Cruz, for that question. So we currently have an agreement with Cal Consulting. It was a one-year agreement. We are proposing a longer-term relationship because we have been satisfied with the services that we have received from them as part of our efforts to try to bring in more funding into Sierra Madre. I will let staff talk about our success in terms of grant awards to date, but the item is a recommendation to enter into a multi-year agreement with them, try to lock in that pricing so there's not year-over-year increases. It's well known for us. We can control it. If we were going to enter into a year-to-year agreement, the cost was going to be higher.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. Thank you for your question, Councilmember Krebs. We've been with the California Consulting for about 10 months now, and every month we have a meeting with them and we go over the new grants, pending grants. So far, we've been awarded one grant for the ABC, the Alcohol, Beverage, and Control, for our public safety or police of $30,000. That was earlier on in the grant contract. We have 5 pending applications in right now that have been submitted since November of last year. And some of these items take a little bit of time for awarding or not awarding. We also have a couple in progress at the moment, both in fire. We are having separate meetings with fire alone to get whatever information, documentation, application submitted so that it will become a pending item shortly.
Can I ask a follow-up? So I know we have certain city-affiliated organizations, and that's a separate topic, but I was thinking specifically when you mentioned fire, that we now have our Fire Safe Council, and would the services that the city is contracting California Consulting for, would they be available to sort of city-adjacent, those organizations that are also, interested in grant funding that will ultimately benefit the city?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, when one does come up, we consult with the Fire Safe Council and let them know that the opportunity is there for them to apply for the grant through the fire department, support and assistance from them. And so yes, they are aware of some of the grants that are available for fire-related grants.
Great, thank you.
So this contract is for 2 years, is that right?
So the renewal would be a 2-year contract with the option of a 3rd year.
And so the 111,000 is for 2 years.
For the 2 years.
And for the first year, how much, for the 10 months that we've had it, about how much was it?
For the year is $55,200 in total.
$55,000.
$4,600 a month.
Okay. So we've spent 55,000 and so far we've got 30,000 back,
Yes.
ballpark. And then how many proposals do you said we have pending?
We have 5 pending currently.
Do you happen to know the approximate amount of those 5?
Yes, I do. The one is for 42,000. The other is for 262,000. 35,000, 22,000, and 26,000.
So we're talking in the neighborhood of $390,000 for, if we add the 2 years together, a $160,000 investment. So more than twofold return, assuming we get them all. I mean, we don't know if we're going to get them all, and these are just the ones we've submitted.
Correct. Yes.
And how many do we have in progress?
There's 2 in progress at the moment that are new that just came up within the last month, and we are in discussion with them, with California Consulting.
And how big are those?
Those, I don't have the amounts. They're to be determined. We don't have the amounts yet.
Okay, great. It seems like it's a good value. Thank you.
Thank you. So on, I know it's $600, but if it's $55,200 per year, that would be $110,400. And in the staff report, it just says $111,400, an extra $1,000. But I'm looking at the contract under 3.4, and I know that it's for a flat retainer and reimbursable costs.
Reimbursable.
And it says the maximum amount under the 2 years would be $111,000. So that only leaves $600 for reimbursable costs under this contract. Would that be sufficient?
Yes. So far in the 9 months that we've been with California Consulting, there have not been any administrative costs or travel or anything like that of that nature in the 9 months. So we anticipate a very low dollar amount if there is going to be if they have to travel out to Sierra Madre, but we don't anticipate that happening.
So if that exceeds $600, would we need to amend the contract? So is that,
Correct, you'd have to bring it back. So if you want to allot more for reimbursable expenses, now would be the time to make that amendment.
I mean, I just a follow-up question, wouldn't we sort of control
We
whether
would
they
control
incur
this.
expenses? Like if we ask them to go to Sacramento and lobby, or we ask them to come to Sierra Madre for an in-person meeting, like we actually know that they're going to be expending, like they don't just show up and then ask to be reimbursed, right?
That is correct. We would control the travel or the request for them to advocate for a certain grant funding.
so considering like a trip to Sacramento, would we probably in that case send staff, or would we still want the lobbyist company to go up and do that on our behalf, if that did come up?
I think it would be determined on what grant is, and if we do send staff, yeah, I mean, it depends on the type of grant that we're looking at.
So would this be just something that would come on consent, just an amendment, nothing, not too big, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm not too concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? All right, so item H. Item I. Yes.
Madam Mayor. So I know we have this conversation periodically about the costs and benefits, the pros and cons of contracting out, for example, to Wildan for engineering services versus doing those services in-house. And so I see that this is an amendment to the Wildan contract to expand the scope of their services. And that's, I assume, something we're doing in-house now. So I'm just wondering if we thought about, again, kind of in that cyclical way of whether this was the cost-effective way of providing these services versus doing it in-house.
Yeah, so as part of our efforts to streamline service delivery, we took a look at the differences between the planning department and the public works department in terms of private activity versus public activity. At the last meeting, the city council considered an ordinance related to building numbering as part of that streamlining effort. We also looked within other areas within public works of the type of activity that they were providing that was for private benefit. And we determined that the grading and the drainage activities fell within sort of that bright line that we drew. We do have staff in-house that does historically reviewed this information, but we have determined that it's better to have a licensed engineering firm take a look at this information as opposed to the in-house review of it. We've also taken a look at the fees and determined that the fees that we're currently collecting are probably not the appropriate assessment, nor are they covering the full cost recovery of the activity or the benefit being provided. And so considering all of those factors, we thought transferring it to planning and then having Wildan with their cost-sharing umbrella that we already have provide these services would be a better benefit to the community as well as the organization.
Thank you.
If I can follow up, so do we think we would have, we would be able to recover more cost if we brought that in-house?
The opposite.
The opposite?
Yeah, if we contracted with,
It's, so
Ask
so
your
my
question again.
question is, do we think that the cost sharing that we have with Wildan versus hiring an engineer for the engineering work, do we have enough work for the engineering person? And then from a cost perspective, from a cost recovery, we would get, we'd be able to cover all of those costs if there was enough work. Is that right? Because it would be for the work that's done, we wouldn't have to share the cost with Wildan. We would have it. The question is, do we have enough work to justify a full-time engineer?
yeah, and that was part of the assessment. We don't do grading all the time. We're not doing drainage studies all the time. So these are typically one-off when there's like new developments or change in the property or something to that effect. I don't think where we're currently setting fees in the process that we currently have is beneficial to the city. I think the Wildan approach and having their resources and their staff is the more appropriate way to handle this.
And we had a contractor doing it out of Public Works before, right?
We had staff doing it.
Okay.
All right, questions on item I? I'm sorry, I am back on J.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I know this is step one, and then step two, the engineer's report will come to us. So I just want to make sure there's clarity because I think it was within the engineering report that we reviewed last time around that there was actually a budget for how the monies could be spent on an annual basis. And I felt as though that budget was confusing and we may have been misled on how we can spend that money. Is there a way that when we go forward with the new engineer report that it's a little bit more clear on how the monies can be spent and how the budget should be allocated? Is that something we can ask for?
Yeah, and we've expressed that to them already.
Oh, great. Read my mind. Thank you.
And item K? L? All right, can I please open this to public comment on any items on the consent calendar?
Madam Mayor, there are no speaker cards submitted.
All right, do we have any discussion on consent? All right, can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, let's move on to discussion items. We have Resolution 26-47, approving City Council telecommunication procedures policy.
Mayor, I'll be presenting this one. And the City Council last reviewed this policy on March 10th. At that meeting, the City Council provided feedback asking that this policy be simplified. Is it possible to pull the policy up on the screen, the staff report and policy? In sum, there were 3 edits made to the policy to attempt to clarify the policy itself. The first is that first column was converted into questions. So you know the question that's being asked. Second, I removed the 2 columns at the end, the 2 columns at the end that dealt with eligible subsidiary bodies and multi-jurisdictional bodies, only because those are not teleconferencing options that are used very often. This body is more likely to use the first 4, which are the default option, the emergency option, and the just cause option. So I guess the first 3. And I also simplified the text in the table itself so that it reads more clearly. So that's a summary of the edits. Happy to take any questions. I know it works because one of the council members was able to point out a mistake that was made in the last time we did the teleconferencing, so. Makes
So
sense.
regarding the public participation piece, the traditional method is the only method where the public has an opportunity at the notice location, correct? Because other 2 talk about the public having an opportunity to call in or video in. That could be from any location. Is that the distinction?
Correct.
Okay, so under emergency and just cause, that gives the opportunity for the public to call in or maybe Zoom in or whatever. Okay.
Right. Whatever method is being used by the council members must also be available to the members of the public.
But that's not the case with traditional. They can only be at that location that's noticed on the agenda.
Correct. You don't have, the city doesn't have to make, the distinction is the city may, if it wants, make teleconferencing available to members of the public, but it need not to. What the city needs to do is make that physical location available to the public, though.
And then all those require roll call votes.
All those require roll call votes
So we probably should have done roll call votes, I'm guessing,
the last time.
Well, everything was unanimous, I think, anyway, so even if my vote didn't count, I thought about that.
Yeah.
That we're probably okay.
You also
Okay.
didn't count for quorum, so I'm not sure.
And we had a quorum
Yes.
anyway.
That's one of my questions. So if where it says must the votes be taken by roll call? Yes, it has to be taken by roll call, but his vote is, if you're in a column, the last column, just cause exceptions, he's not counted towards quorum.
That's the distinction.
Okay.
His vote counts, but he doesn't count toward quorum. So if he's not physically present, well, if you don't have 3 physically present, you can't even have the meeting.
Got it.
But if you have the meeting, his vote counts.
Okay. Thank you.
And then, so the notification for this, it's the 72 hours beforehand, is that right?
That's true for the default option as well as the emergency circumstances, but that's not true for just cause. Just cause can be less than 72 hours ahead of time. The law says that whoever is going to be taking advantage of just cause needs to let the relevant city official know, in this case, the city clerk, as soon as possible.
And so emergency exception is 72 hours notice.
Yeah, and I don't want you to confuse it with the old emergency exception, which said it's not an emergency circumstance, right? Which is a family or medical emergency. That's now been captured by just cause. The emergency in this case is a declared emergency, either by the state or the local body, like COVID, or the Eaton fire.
Where we were all teleconferencing.
That might be a helpful line to put in. I'm moving into discussion, I'm sorry, but I think that knowing the notification timeframe could be helpful.
And I have a question about, like, procedure. So are we, because it talks about other bodies, are we contemplating this for commissions as well? Because I know it's a lot of extra staff time to get the commissions to this. So are we contemplating the discussion, talking about offering this to commissions, or just talking to the city council?
Under the Brown Act, this will be offered to all commissions. What won't be offered to the commissions is the policy you adopted last time. So all commission meetings by default won't have teleconferencing, which this body will have as of July 1st, or maybe has now, I'm not sure. But the commissions won't have that capability unless one of the individual commissioners is going to be teleconferencing in.
And the only commission that is televised is Planning Commission?
I don't know. Is that true?
City Council and Planning Commission are the only two bodies.
So as of July 1st, we have to take questions from remote locations?
Correct?
Okay.
And public comment.
Okay, so when we open it for public comment, that is people are allowed to teleconference and ask questions then. Okay.
Someone will need to monitor the feed to see if anyone's raising their hand or.
Can you clarify by what you mean by asking questions? Because that's not a normal procedure in a council meeting by the public.
So what I'm hearing Attorney Garagosian say is that starting July 1st, all of our meetings have to be webcast, and that when we open up for questions,
Public comment, you mean?
Public comment is what I meant
I'm
to say.
sorry,
For items on the agenda, not the
meant
agenda.
public questions.
I meant
Okay.
questions from the public. So
Yeah.
I meant public comment.
Yeah, I know.
So I see
I
where the
understand now.
confusion is.
Okay.
So anytime we open up for public comment, someone can,
Right, so we would ask, is there any member present of the public that wants to ask a question, that wants to provide public comment? And then once you've exhausted that opportunity, then you can go check online to see if there's anyone online, and then we move into discussion.
and how do you then, are there provisions to control for random people? How do you avoid abuse of that type of system? Because you could see that anyone could want, someone could publicize it, and you could get a whole bunch of people from outside of the city or outside of the state or outside of the country calling in. Are there any provisions to address that?
The short answer is no. What we can do is limit it to just audio and not video to control the type of Zoom bombing incidents and things that we saw during COVID. But just like anybody who wants to come and speak at the podium and share public comment, however distasteful or off topic as we might find it, it is their right to participate. We're just extending that through teleconferencing.
And do we have the ability then to set the time limit for them to be able to speak?
Yes.
So if we all of a sudden see 200 people not that this would likely happen for us, but if we saw 200 people in, we could set a limit for 30 seconds for each person because of the number of people.
Not that short.
Okay.
I've generally advised that you shouldn't be, and city attorneys generally have a consensus that you shouldn't be allowing less than 2 minutes is what we generally tell each other to be on the safe side, because it's really hard to articulate something thoughtful in a minute if it's a complex subject. But the city council, there's a lot of different strategies. One thing that, for example, the city of Pasadena does is it allots X number of minutes at the meeting for public comment, and if there's too much public comment, let's say for items not on the agenda, it's in the beginning, 30 minutes on items not on the agenda for public comment, and if you've exhausted that 30 minutes, then it goes to the end of the agenda. So you can carry on with the rest of your agenda, and then if someone's interested enough, they can wait till the end of the agenda to provide that public comment for items not on the agenda. For example, there are different strategies.
Okay.
And we would use the same rules that we did pretty much during COVID, and we do now. If it violates the same rule that would be in personal public comment, then it violates it virtually as well.
Correct, and we have a little more control because we can, right, mute people.
So that example you gave regarding the city of Pasadena, are we allowed to do that mid-meeting, or would it need to be noticed on the agenda that that is our policy?
We can do that mid-meeting, it's the mayor's call.
Yeah, that was gonna be my follow-up. Are we gonna have the technological ability to cut people off or mute them?
We do now.
I don't see this being, oh, never mind this discussion. Sorry. All right. Any more questions? Do we have public comment on this discussion?
Madam Mayor, no speaker cards were submitted.
Anybody call in?
Anybody online?
All right, discussion. I just don't see this being much different than it was during COVID, when we all had to do Zoom meetings for every city and every.
We're talking about this though, right? Not the one.
Yeah,
that we
yes,
talked about.
sorry. But these rules for calling in, I think are pretty fair. And a little bit more understandable. Thank you for redoing that
I mean,
chart.
to clarify, this is just the actual law, right? This is just like what we have to, like, we don't have choice of like moving this around or like rejecting something.
Correct, yeah, it's just a summary of the existing law, and it's, I thought it'd be easier to follow than the narrative format that it currently exists in the law.
I find it very easy
Yeah.
to follow, so thank you for the format that you put it in.
Is there, what's the noticing for just cause? Is that also 72 hours, or?
It's not, no. Ideally, you want 72 hours, but there are because it contemplates situations that are emergencies, the law says that you just have to let the city clerk know as soon as possible.
Do we want to add one row that includes noticing?
I believe that was Councilmember Parker's request too, and yes, we can add that.
Sorry, I was half listening to you. Apologize.
All right, any more discussion? I have a motion.
Move to approve Resolution 2647, approving City Council teleconferencing policy, procedure policy.
Second.
Is that as amended with the additional row
As
for
amended with the
noticing?
notice information.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, do we have items for future agendas? I have one. If the discussion has come up, I know it's kind of been agendized in the past, but looking forward to the future, we're talking about the expansion of Carter. We're talking about we have to redo the parking lot in Bailey Canyon in the next 5 years. And we had extreme amount, like 10 emails and 9 people come to public comment back in June about the traffic flow of be going down Grove Lane. No, Grove Lane is shorter in the alley. Grove Street. I think it's Street or Avenue. And how we're going to accommodate that with once the build is there and once Bailey Canyon's reopened. And I'd really like to look at moving the entrance of Bailey Canyon to another location, either down the street a little bit more so it doesn't let out right down Grove or over to Lima. And I think there were 2 opportunities, like I said. We're redoing the parking lot. We have to do it within 5 years at Bailey Canyon, or also during the expansion of Carter, could we do it then? So I'd like to look at that. Anything else? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Until tomorrow night.
Until tomorrow night. We shall see everybody here back tomorrow night. Thank you,
Get a
everybody.
second, Madam?
Oh, second.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.